Rakuji, you are on mute.
Hare Krishna. Do you see the PPT?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So we'll start. So, just now we were discussing how, as the realizations become deeper, is when we actually start relishing the internal energy of the Lord, right? The internal energy is all bliss, Satchit Ananda. So that we become eligible to experience as we deepen our convictions and realization. So we read the scriptures again and again and again so that it will get entrenched. And the more we read it in the association of devotees, and the more we take the guidance of a spiritual master, and we associate with advanced devotees, this conviction will grow in us. And to the extent these convictions grow is the extent to which we actually experience bliss and joy in our life. And we are very unlikely to make mistakes, in our spiritual path. So we are reading the story of such a person, of Srila Prabhupada, who is a pure devotee sent by Krishna to this material world to show us how you need nothing except bhakti to achieve in life. So from Prabhupada, everything was taken away. But still, only with bhakti he achieved. Whatever he has achieved today in ISKCON, it is by bhakti. You may say, no, he put in a lot of effort. That effort is not humanly possible. That's what I'm saying. It is possible only by the power of his conviction of love of Krishna. That Krishna loves me and I love Krishna. And I want to serve Krishna. To please him. To serve is to please. So that mode is what Prabhupada manifested. So when we read Prabhupada's story, we should always remind ourselves, this is not the story of an ordinary man. He is a Vaikuntha man, but he's manifesting a story which outwardly looks like the story of an ordinary human being. So when you see the reversals that happen in the life of Srila Prabhupada, the disappointments that happen in the life of Prabhupada, you should remember Prabhupada is not having many goals in his life like us. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi eke kurunandana bahushakahi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayina. Bhagavad Gita says, be one-pointed, Arjun. And what is it, one point? Second chapter, Krishna says, the one point is be focused on the Lord. Be focused on transcendence. Be focused on going back home, back to Godhead. That should be your only goal. To serve, to please the Lord. That should be the only goal. And that one goal, how do you receive? Through the spiritual master. That's why Prabhupada says, Devasatmika Buddhi Ekeha Kurunandana. This shloka refers to the spiritual master's instructions. Your only goal should be the instructions of your spiritual master. That is called Devasayatmika Buddhi. Externally, you may see so many waves in the world around you, tsunamis. But no, your focus is on the spiritual master's instructions. And that is called Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So beautifully, Prabhupada exemplified this, manifested this in his life. Completely, he surrendered to the instructions of his Guru. And whatever happened in his life, he gave the credit to his Guru only. These are all the secrets of success in spiritual life. Even if you allow an iota of credit to attach to you, your spiritual life can go for a toss. It is very, very dangerous. It is said, one Guru and his Chela were traveling. One house they invited and they said, please have food with us. And they both sat down and big feast was served. The Guru ate everything. But when it came to serving the disciple, he said, no, don't give him that. Just give him plain dal chawal, nothing else. So the disciple was very disappointed. Guru was eating such an opulent prasadam. So they went out. The disciple had this question in his mind, but he did not ask. He was very hesitating. Then the Guru next went, there was a blacksmith. Blacksmith? He is putting burning coals and he puts iron rod inside that. It becomes red hot. Then he beats it and then makes it into shapes. That blacksmith shop. He also invited. And he said, "Oh, dear Guru, you have come, but I am not in a position to serve you. How can I serve you?" Then the Guru said, "Give me that burning coal." So he just picked up and swallowed it. Another coal he picked up and he swallowed. Very nice feast. Then he looked at the chela. The chela understood. The chela understood. That means the power of the spiritual master is extraordinary. Externally, it looks like ordinary person. When he eats a prasadam and he says, "Oh, nice, this sabji, give me more, this sambar, give me more," like that, is like an ordinary person. But then the boy understood. So similarly, spiritual master, we should not see through our own material eyes. We should pray always that please the Lord, give me the proper eyes to see. Please give me the proper eyes to experience. Okay. So today is session 6, and the main theme is Jhansi story. Jhansi, Jhansi Rani Lakshmibai. But there is a story connected with Prabhupada also that happened in Jhansi. So we will see it today. So before that, we are going to cover something like a 9 years, time frame of Prabhupada's life here. So 1954 means Prabhupada is 58 years old. So up to the time Prabhupada becomes 58 years old, we'll be covering it here. At what age Prabhupada went to America? Anyone?
70?
69.
65.
63.
76, Prabhuji, 76.
69. He went in the age of 69. He celebrated his 70th birthday on the ship Jaladuta, Janmashtami. He started just before Janmashtami. And Janmashtami is his birthday. The day following Janmashtami is his birthday. So his 70th birthday was on the ship. So like that he went. Yeah. So this is up to 58. Another 11 years to go before he embarks. But please remember, the life that we are seeing here, you should appreciate. Prabhupada is always in Krishna consciousness only. Not that he started something extraordinary at the age of 69 in the year 1965. Not like that. Prabhupada is fully absorbed in Krishna from the time he was born. Because he's a pure devotee who is taking birth. His father, was a pure devotee. Yes, Gaur Mohan Dey. He was a pure devotee. At the age of 5, Prabhupada conducted a Rath Yatra. So whatever Prabhupada is doing, whether he is doing business, whether he is maintaining a family, whether he is competing with competitors, whether he is trying to develop a big bank balance, whatever Prabhupada is doing, remember he is serving Krishna. Please keep this in your heart. So now let us proceed here. So last time you remember we saw about the famine of Bengal, how Winston Churchill created an artificial famine. Prabhupada was watching all these things, that he is seeing how much suffering is there in this Vaikuntha, a place where there is no anxiety. Prabhupada knew that this can be a Vaikuntha. Only what is lacking? God consciousness. So Prabhupada is seeing all these things. So now, Second World War ended in 1944. 1945, United Nations came into being. And then 46, 47, India's independence coming up. But then, unfortunately, partition happened. So Bengal suffered a lot in the famine also. Then in Second World War, they bombed Calcutta. And in 47, Naukali riots between Hindus and Muslims. So Bengal was badly battered. And Prabhupada was watching all these things. But Prabhupada was not at all interested in independence. Not that he did not want, he did not care. Even though at one point of time, you remember, he was a Gandhian. He was taking part in the non-cooperation movement. He did not even collect his BA degree, such a sought-after degree from Scottish Church College. He did not take. He passed the exam. He did not collect his degree as a mark of protest. So he participated in independence struggle. But when he met his guru in 1922, then he was no longer interested in freedom because his guru told him clearly, what is this nonsense independence? The slave as well as the master, they both are suffering. They both are suffering from the same problems, birth, old age, disease, and death. Who is free from that? So Abhay asked his guru, no, my dear guru, who will listen to me if I go now? India is under foreign rule. So if they have to even listen to us, then we have to first struggle for our independence. But Guru strongly defeated him. He said, no, who is ruling is immaterial for us. What is material is God consciousness. Just as people here are suffering, people in the Western world are also suffering by lack of God consciousness. In fact, they are suffering more. At least in India, some degree of God consciousness is there. But in the West, it is almost disappeared. They are all suffering in Mayavad, Nirvishesha, Shunyavad. They are in Mayavad, they are in Shunyavad, they have no concept of God. They are so much absorbed in sense gratification, which is the source of all miseries. They think they are enjoying, but they are all suffering. So you have to give them this knowledge. So Prabhupada was told like, so Abhay did not really care for political independence. Actually, after independence, Prabhupada says suffering only increase in many ways. So only through Krishna consciousness, it can set the soul free. The soul is already imprisoned in this body. And further, it is imprisoned in this material world. Right? So many layers are covering us. Can anyone give the list of coverings, what the soul has got? What are the layers of covering? Soul?
Prabhuji, is it that
Anger,
mind,
lust,
intelligence, false ego?
Yes. That is
Subtle-
one layer.
Subtle covering.
Subtle layer, yes.
lust, anger, distress.
Sorry, Prabhu? Krishna?
Lust, anger, distress.
Yeah, these are all the vicious qualities that are sitting in our subtle body. So each is a layer. There are 7 layers: earth, water, fire, air, ether, then mind, intelligence, false ego. These are all layers. So many layers are covering. This is actually a prison. The soul is imprisoned there. So as I explained in another class, you put a lighted candle and you cover it with a pot and you put some holes in the pot, then some light is coming through the holes. But it's not coming from the hole. It is coming from the candle only. The light belongs to the candle, not to the pot or to the hole. So, but we get, misled to think that there is pleasure in this body. I can get some pleasures through this body. That's all wrong understanding. So that imprisoned soul should become free. Till then, there is no freedom. Can you appreciate that? Supposing you have unlimited amounts of money, can you say you are free? Can you say you are free if you have unlimited amounts of money?
No.
Why? Why not?
We are having the threat, Prabhuji.
Sorry?
Because it is material, we have not come out of that material consciousness. Prabhuji.
No, don't reply very theoretically.
Prabhuji, we have the threat, Prabhuji. Threat of being money stolen, Prabhuji. Like if we have so much
Who
of
cares?
money.
You put money in so many banks, you have properties all over the world. What kind of threat is that? That's an immaterial thing. That's not a very serious thing. See, the problem is, what do you do with the money?
Sense enjoyment.
Your mind and intelligence, it will dictate to you. It will say, do this, do that. It will say, drink liquor. It will say, have illicit sex. It will say, you gamble. It will lead you into all these vicious activities. It will load you with sin. But the senses will not free you. The senses will never say, okay, you have earned a lot of money. Now I will not make any demands on you. No, senses will continue to make demands. And what we consider as freedom is slavery. I can go to any club, I can go to any mall, I can buy anything, I can enjoy any pleasure, but who is dictating that? It is dictated by your false ego and your senses, and you are actually a slave without even realizing that I am a slave. See, having these desires is slavery. Having material desires is slavery, because all material desires eventually lead to suffering. Whether you fulfill them or you can't fulfill them, desires lead to suffering. Whether they are fulfilled, the desire grows more brightly, it burns, or if it is not fulfilled, you get frustration. So whether it is frustration that leads to anger or it is fulfillment that leads to more greed, either way you suffer. So that way, money gives you an opportunity to pander to your senses. That's all. Your senses are demanding, your mind is demanding. You are simply like a slave, you are catering to that. If you have less money, you cater less. If you have more money, you cater more. But you are only a caterer of your own senses. The senses of are your masters. How is it a good situation that you are under so many masters? Senses. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, even one sense can drag you away, like a powerful wind can take a sailboat in any direction. Even one powerful sense can take you away. So that is the risk with which we live. So basically, the slavery you can't overcome by social emancipation or economic development. None of these things, or even we have a good, sound, healthy body or a beautiful frame or name, fame, nothing can free you from the control of your senses. That is what is said in Bhagavatam. This Hiranyakashipu, he was the most powerful man you can imagine, but he was not happy, Bhagavatam says. And it explains why. Why? Because his senses were not controlled. His mind was not controlled. So he was not happy. So your mind and senses will not allow you to be happy until they are controlled, until you transcend them to a higher position. So that is what we have to understand. Not from an academic perspective, but we should understand deeply in our heart to know that if I see somebody powerful, somebody famous, somebody beautiful, somebody wealthy, somebody knowledgeable, I have to realize they cannot be happy. I have to realize only a devotee can be happy. Without any of these things, he can be happy. This we have to realize deeply. Then only we'll become grateful to our spiritual master for what he has given us. If I am still enamored of wealth, then how can I feel gratitude to my spiritual master for giving me the eyes of wisdom? How will I appreciate that? If I am still attracted by all these sense gratification. So that's very, very important. Okay, so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, blind men led by another blind man have no hope. So India became free, but the political leaders were all blind only. The followers were also blind. Political leaders were only trying to develop India economically. They forgot the spiritual heritage, what we have got from our ancestors, the tradition of bhakti, the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Itihasas. So much wealth we have, but they have neither taken it in their lives nor they have given it to us. They have rather, in the name of secularism, they have pushed religion out of our lives. And that means for us now, only aim in life is to grow economically and socially. We have nothing else. So everything has become material now because of the secular government. So, this is called parabhavastasya kuto mahadguna. We only defeated whatever we try to do. Because God is removed from our life, religion is removed from our life. Only we are given only economic development and social development for this body only. So whether you get it or not, you are defeated because your soul will remain entrapped. The soul will remain a slave only. So this is what Prabhupada realized. This is what Saraswati Thakur says. Blind man led by another blind man. This is what is happening in democratic countries. We elect a blind man to lead us. So post-independence, we were taking the same route what the British were taking. Developing industries, developing, mining, developing agriculture, whatever it is. Only purely focusing on economic. Whereas India's wealth is in its spiritual heritage, which we should reclaim and then we should distribute to the whole world. The whole world is waiting for India. This is only known to spiritual people. The whole world is waiting for India. But India is going behind the whole world, saying, please give me some loans, please give me some money, please give me some technology. All this nonsense is going. But India, once it spiritually develops, then the whole world will come to India because everyone is looking for happiness and peace, which is available only through spirituality. So please understand, this is what is moving Prabhupada, his whole life. This is what he's planning to do, to serve the society, to help people to open their eyes, to help the souls to develop love for God and go back home back to God. He's not interested in this material world at all. He's more interested in liberating the souls and connecting them to Krishna. So what happens in this world is immaterial. But the problem is people will not listen. So how to make them listen? They have to make the leaders listen. They have to make them spiritual. Through them, they have to give spiritual knowledge to the whole world. So the thinking of Prabhupada is how to give this knowledge. That is the only focus, nothing else. So now you see. So spiritual master opens our eyes with true wisdom. Till that time, we have only material, fleshy eyes. We can only see sense gratification with our eyes, nothing more. So Prabhupada wanted Bhagavad Gita to be taught to the entire Indian population. He wrote to Jawaharlal Nehru, of all people, what to do. He's the prime minister. He wrote to the president, he wrote to the vice president. He even tried later on with Indira Gandhi. He wrote to Mahatma Gandhi. Very briefly, I am touching upon some of these points because we don't have much time. Very, very few points I have jotted here. There is so much more in the Prabhupada Lilamrt. Unfortunately, even though Bhagavad Gita was known to people, but it was misinterpreted. People have their own motives. They are imputing those motives into Bhagavad Gita. They misinterpret and teach a wrong message to the people. What is that wrong message? They ignore Krishna completely. Krishna is the message of Gita. Krishna is the speaker of Gita. And Krishna is the message of Gita. But all these people brush aside Krishna. And they want to teach their own philosophy in the name of God by twisting the words around. Like Dr. Radhakrishnan wrote, when Gita says, surrender unto me, it is not surrender to Krishna. It is surrender to the Brahman, which is within Krishna. What foolishness. Brahman is simply the bodily effulgence of Krishna. And he is saying, Brahman within Krishna, you should surrender. So he is saying, Krishna is a material body. He is dead and gone. These kind of misinterpretations. So, what to do? Prabhupada printed back to Godhead, we saw in the previous class, but there was no more paper. There was so much scarcity. So, Prabhupada continued to write his manuscripts. He did not stop writing. He continued to write, but he was accumulating them whenever the time comes. So, again and again, I want to bring you to this fact that Prabhupada never stopped working. His time, 24 hours, was given to Krishna. But see, I am writing, but if it is not printed, it is not available to the world. But I am going on doing. Whenever the time comes, the books will be printed. This manuscript will be converted into books. So Prabhupada's time is never wasted. Prabhupada is not thinking, whenever I get paper, I will start writing. No, he is creating the manuscripts always ready. And like this, he accumulated hundreds of manuscripts. And he was writing same time to many VIPs. I already gave you a list of a few names. Not only within India, outside India also. He was writing to many authors, many universities, many political persons, giving this message. Many of them will not reply. Some of them will reply very politely, but in a very negative way. Some people will write encouragingly, but in a very uninterested way. All these things Prabhupada was experiencing. Then Calcutta riots happened, 1947, Navkali riots, at the time of partition. So Prabhupada wrote to the rehabilitation committee, in just after partition, let us have Hari Kirtan and Prasadam. This is my recommendation. That rehabilitation, they have to bring Hindus, Muslims together. Let us have Hari Kirtan Prasadam. I have only given you the point. Prabhupada is giving detailed explanation in that letter. Why? But who will read? The rehabilitation committee simply wrote a very polite reply. Sorry, we don't concur with you. This is not in our rehabilitation plans. You may do whatever you want, but we are going ahead with our plans. And what they would have done, I don't know. But they could not see the sense behind what Prabhupada saying. But I hope all of you remember, when Prabhupada was a child of 3 or 4 years old, one Vaishnava saint came to Calcutta, and there was a plague going everywhere. And nobody knew how to handle that. But the sadhu went street to street, door to door, gully to gully, and they had Harinam. And then the plague subsided. Prabhupada had seen it as a child, he recorded that. So Prabhupada wanted to do Hari Kirtan and Krishna Prasadam distribution to bring peace, but no cooperation. Please understand, unless our spiritual eye opens, Even we cannot appreciate this. How Hari Kirtan and Krishna Prasadam will bring peace, and how people will accept this. So that means preaching, no? Hari Kirtan Prasadam means coupled with preaching. You have to teach people. So that is what we have to understand. Mahatma Gandhi is not Mahatma Gandhi. So I wrote here Mahatma and Gandhiji. Mahatma is Srila Prabhupada. Mahatmanastu Mahampat Daivim Prakriti Mashrita. One who is surrendered to the Devi Prakriti is called a Mahatma. So Prabhupada is surrendered to Devi Prakriti, he is Mahatma. Gandhi is not surrendered to Devi Prakriti. Rather, he was using his own mental concoctions, whether it is a non-cooperation or ahimsa or satyagraha or swadeshi or swarajya, whatever. It was all his own mental concoction. Fasting as a political tool, it's all not recommended. It is rather forbidden in the scriptures. Gandhi did many forbidden things. He was a good man, but he was not led properly. He did not have a spiritual master. So we know Tadviti Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. We have to go to Tattva-darshina, spiritual master, who has seen the truth. We have to go to such a person. But Gandhi did not have that leadership. In fact, Gandhi confessed that I have no knowledge of Indian philosophy. So he read Bhagavad Gita, but a very inferior understanding of Bhagavad Gita here, because we already know, no? Misinterpreted Bhagavad Gita. That's what he was having. Even that Gita gave him a lot of peace, but it did not give him devotion. From Gita, he did not get devotion. So Gandhi is not Mahatma Gandhi. That was rubber stamped on him by political leaders. Who is qualified to give a Mahatma stamp to another person? A Mahatma only can give, no? How a political leader can give a stamp? Anyway, so Gandhi believed in serving God by making people happy through politics. This is wrong. To serve God by making people happy through politics and his own invented methods, I already listed. This is not the way to serve God. Right? To serve God, we know now. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Mandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedam. We have to serve God in these ways, and we have to engage the people in the service of God by teaching them philosophy, scriptures. That is the correct way to serve God. So this is Manava Seva, Madhava Seva, this misplaced understanding of service to God. There is a problem with Gandhiji. So he was doing that. So Prabhupada wrote, see, second paragraph, you can read it on the screen. Prabhupada wrote, this is only a few lines I have picked up. Prabhupada letter, elaborate letter, many letters to Gandhi. But here you see, I am your unknown friend. You know, Prabhupada always write, ever well-wishing, you are ever well-wisher. All letters Prabhupada will say, you are ever well-wisher. Krishna is Suhridam Sarva Bhutana, and the pure devotee is also Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. So Prabhupada writes, I am your unknown friend, but I had written to you many times, though you never replied. You had no time for my letters or Back to Godhead magazine. Nor I got an interview to meet and talk to you and share these things with you. You should retire from politics now. See here, Prabhupada is writing. You know when Prabhupada is writing this? 1947, post-independence. So must be sometime September, October like that. And when did Gandhi die? Anyone knows?
49, Prabhuji, 1949.
No.
1948.
Right after independence.
Yeah, 48.
48.
What day?
January 30th.
Correct. So you see, Prabhupada wrote, and within months he was gone. And let's see what Prabhupada writes. You should retire from politics now if you wish to avoid an inglorious death. A Hindu shot him dead, right? You earned extraordinary honor in your lifetime. Read these lines. But all that is false, Prabhupada is telling. As a sadhu, he speaks openly, cuttingly, to remove ignorance. He talks, he doesn't have anything to gain by praising somebody in an unjustified manner. He's speaking the truth. To take it, you earned extraordinary honor, but all that is false. You earned in your lifetime. See, if you die, if somebody honors you, fine, at least you are gone. But you are alive and you are getting so much honor, so it will go to your head, no? So here he is telling all that is false. It is created by the illusory energy of God. All that is Maya. Whatever glory you have is Maya. You and your friends do not know this. Grace of God has cleared this illusion now. What Prabhupada is pointing out is Gandhi thought he will bring independence to India and he will have a united India and the policies will be, I don't know how many of you read all this history and all that. I will not waste time on that. But Gandhiji had a certain roadmap for the country post-independence. Everything was rejected by the man who was made prime minister by Gandhi only. Gandhi made him prime minister, but he rejected whatever was dear to Gandhi, including partition of Pakistan. Gandhi was not for it, but he had to finally surrender to it. Anyway, so Prabhupada is writing, grace of God has cleared this illusion now. Now you know you are not a kingmaker. You are not such a great person that you are guiding the destiny of India. No, you are a nobody. You only got illusion of grandeur that I am so great. And people are calling me Mahatma. The British are coming to take my counsel. The Indian government is coming to take my counsel. Everybody is glorifying United Nations and everywhere. So he went into his head. Grace of God has cleared this illusion. Now wake up. It's a wake-up call. Take to preaching Gita 100%, giving clear direction. Take to preaching Gita. Learn Gita from a guru and preach. Or you shall die like Mussolini, Hitler, etc. Twice the warning is there. You will die like Mussolini, Hitler, etc. Okay, anyway, no reply came as usual, and within a couple of months, he was shot. Next thing, Gandhi is dead. Now, what the government will do? Memorial committee for Gandhi Memorial. Again, Prabhupada writes to that committee saying, oh, Gandhi is such a great Vaishnava. He had such spiritual qualities. And we should perpetuate his contributions by recognizing this Vaishnava quality. And he gave examples. See, in Navakali, he installed a Radha Krishna deity. And he created the Harijan movement. So that means he has great respect for Hari. So we should perpetuate by building a nice temple and distributing. Again, he wrote, we should distribute a lot of Krishna Prasadam. We should have Sankirtan everywhere. The committee ignored it. This is independent India, 1948. Okay, now 1948, Prabhupada was on a business mission to Madurai. But don't think he's talking business. He's meeting a medical salesman friend and he's talking Bhagavad Gita. So this friend is very impressed. And he says, oh, if you have written a Bhagavad Gita already, then I will request Alagappa Chettiar, he's Birla of South India. He has a lot of money and he is a spiritual man. He will finance your printing. So please go and bring your manuscript. Prabhupada had already written entire Bhagavad Gita with purports and everything. It is in Calcutta. It said, you bring it. And Alagappa has agreed, you bring it. So Prabhupada went and opened the cupboard where these reams of manuscript is kept. Gone. Disappeared. The whole set of manuscript disappeared. Prabhupada desperately was asking his wife, his children, his sons, servants, everything. No clue. Prabhupada guessed somebody must have stolen. It could have been his own son to raise some money. They might have stolen. But the manuscript was never found. So this dream of printing Bhagavad Gita destroyed. So what do you think? Krishna helps his devotees or Krishna obstructs his devotees? What do you think? Hare Krishna?
He tests Prabhuji. He tested their faith, Prabhuji. So maybe because of...
Yeah, actually Krishna is glorifying his devotee.
Yes, Prabhuji. Because with so much of
yes.
all the tests, how Prabhupada has succeeded.
Yeah. Krishna glorifies like this. In so many ways his devotees glorifies. The Pandavas, Krishna glorified by putting them through so many difficulties. Krishna likes to glorify his devotees. So here, Bhagavad Gita ka. Okay. Right. Next. 1949. So, Bhagavad Gita ka. Now he's writing articles to Gaudiya Patrika, one of the magazines of Gaudiya Mutt. He's writing regularly articles. All these are available. I mean, many quotations from these are available in the Prabhupada Lilamrt. I request all of you to read them. I really wish to talk all these things here, but I have no time. But you should read what all Prabhupada has contributed. And the format in which Abhay approaches problems is identical to Saraswati Thakur. What is that? He does not ignore material problems. Mind you, please take note of this. He does not ignore material problems by saying No, you are not the body. You are a spirit soul. So material problems don't concern you at all. You know the whole material world is only a dream and you are all suffering because of your karma only. So just neglect, forget all these things. Just chant Hare Krishna, do bhajan and go back home, back to God. That's all. All the problems of this world cannot be solved. No, he doesn't talk like that. Saraswati Thakur never did that. Prabhupada never did that. He's following in the same footsteps. So what does he do? Only thing is that these material problems are there, but there is no material solution for these problems. The solution to these problems is always spiritual knowledge. Cut them with the sword of spiritual knowledge. Then your material problems will go. Give everybody spiritual knowledge. So that is the approach. Especially the leaders. They should approach problems with the knowledge of spiritual identity. So that is what he's telling. So all the crises can be solved only when the leadership is God conscious. This is what Prabhupada is always writing. He wrote to Indira Gandhi also. He wrote to Zakir Hussain, wrote to Rajendra Prasad, Jalal Bahadur Shastri. Many of these people he met. Indira Gandhi. Nothing happened. It's a fate. Kali Yuga, no? Nobody can appreciate. So Prabhupada wrote that in what way independent India is better? It is no better than colonial India. Why? Because leaders have rejected the spiritual heritage of India. Prabhupada says, before 1050, India was fully spiritually conscious. Then the Mughal invasion, followed by British invasion, they slowly cut the roots of India's cultural heritage, spiritual heritage. Because of that only there is suffering. Before that, there was enough wealth in India. India was so prosperous, the whole world was trying to come to India. But India's real wealth was its spiritual knowledge. Because of spirituality, India was materially wealthy also. This is the point. If you want to become materially wealthy, you should take to spirituality. That is actually a message in a very practical perspective. How India was so rich before 1050, when India was fully spiritual. People were honest, people were truthful, people were humble, people were sincere, people had all good qualities, compassionate, all these things were there. And so naturally, the country was prosperous. And all this can come only from a spiritual background. Only then it can come. See how convincingly, with so much conviction, Prabhupada writes, the highest service that can be rendered to mankind is to preach the philosophy and religion of Bhagavad Gita for all times. You should not ask if it was applicable to 19th century, not now. No, for all times. Even in the 21st century, 50th century, 100th century also, it will be applicable. And all places, not only for India, to China, to Pakistan, to Britain, everywhere it is available. And all people of all races, whether intelligent, unintelligent, educated, illiterate, for everybody, all time, all place, all people, all problems, the highest service is to teach this philosophy. Let us take this into our heart. Let us take this. Let us become servants of the world. Every Vaishnava is a paradukha dukhi. That is a mark of a Vaishnava. What is the mark of a Vaishnava? Paradukha dukhi. You don't want to see others suffer. You know the medicine, what should be administered to everyone. And you should not hold it. You should give it freely. You should distribute it freely. And that is the message Prabhupada is saying. That's the highest service. And we should not back away from this. This is our responsibility. Not that you go on the face of everyone, push this Bhagavad Gita. Not like that. No. There we have to use our intelligence. Prabhupada used his intelligence to start ISKCON movement. You know Krishna consciousness should be given to people. How? That is where your intelligence will come. So you surrender to the Lord and you pray, you sincerely chant, make yourself pure and ask for guidance, then you will be able to teach. But once you know this is the goal, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, then we should become very focused on taking this in our own life and distributing it to others. Okay, now the Jhansi story. I am giving it very, very short. I want you to read the whole story in Prabhupada's Lilamrt. It is so touching. It will bring tears to your eyes, every line that you read. In 1952, Abhay had already become a Vanaprastha. Not that he was a Grihastha at any point of time. throughout his life, as I said, from the beginning, he's a pure devotee only. Whatever he does, whether he gets married, whether he gets children, whether he has a business, whether he goes around traveling and distributing medicines, he's always a servant of God. Nothing else. He's always a servant of God. So 12 hours of journey he undertook to go from Allahabad to Jhansi in 1952 for preaching. How he had a customer called Dubey for the pharmaceutical drugs. He was having a hospital there, and Dubey was impressed by the spiritual knowledge that Prabhupada was giving to him. So he said, not for business, for a spiritual tour, you come here and talk about Gita to our people in Jhansi. So Prabhupada went for 10 days, leaving his business. For 10 days, he went to Jhansi. He made presentation. Many people were impressed. One Prabhakar Mishra, 26-year-old, principal of Vedanta Sanskrit College. Dr. Shastri, 28 years old, budding Ayurvedic physician. Ramcharan Mitra, who was a shopkeeper of utility items like utensils and all that. Dr. Malik, Gita Mandir secretary. Dr. Siddhi from the university. All these people, they're very much attracted to Prabhupada, and they started taking lessons from him daily, regularly. So Prabhupada was quite happy that things are going well. He's neglecting his Allahabad business because he found a ripe audience here who are willing to take it. So Prabhupada is now having plans to make Jhansi his center for a worldwide movement. Worldwide movement. So now don't think he only when he went to Britain, America, he started thinking of worldwide movement. It was always in his mind, worldwide. So he wanted to make Jhansi the springboard for launching a worldwide movement. So these few people are now with him, and Prabhupada is talking to them all the time about distributing the message of Gita to the world. And all these people, sometimes, they were very impressed by Prabhupada's energy and commitment, but they could not stand up to that. Prabhupada was already how many years old? 56 years old. But these people, 26, 28, but they could not stand up to Prabhupada's vigorous energy. They were getting tired sometimes, because they could not keep that energy. You also, you see, if you try to go and preach now, how long you can preach? Some point of time you want to take a break. But Prabhupada, no break. He takes break from his business, he takes breaks from his family, but never break from Krishna consciousness. It's always there. So you should realize that he's a Vaikuntha. He has come from future. Prabhupada was demonstrating all the time, till he died. Till he died, he was translating Bhagavad. He was giving knowledge to his disciples. That's how Prabhupada was. So Prabhupada had observed during his travels, India is getting more and more westernized. People are blindly following, and the leaders are also blind. And tea drinking, meat eating, smoking, they were spreading everywhere. Young people were also taking up. The villagers are all becoming addicted to smoking and drinking. Prabhupada saw. And this is because the political leaders have no spiritual consciousness. The people are getting degraded, but politicians are only interested in big factories, big industries, and import, export, all these things. So after he was dreaming in Jhansi to create a movement like Gaudiya Math to unite the whole world. You remember, United Nations was created in 1945 after the World War, Second World War. Another movement called League of Nations was created after the First World War. I don't know how many, anybody from history who can help me? Anyone with a history background? World history, Indian history. So I can say anything and get away with it. No problem. Okay. So Second World War, 1914 to 1919, after the World War happened, again the warring nations, they all got together and they set up something called League of Nations with a view to prevent future wars. So they would regularly meet and pass resolutions, and the countries have to abide by whatever decisions are taken and all. And then, Second World War happened. So League of Nations was a failure. So Prabhupada is thinking, we have to create a League of Devotees across the globe. We will have devotees, the whole world. Political leaders will become devotees. Social leaders will become devotees. Industry leaders will become devotees. And all these devotees will form a league, cutting across nations, one league of devotees. And through them, we will propagate Krishna consciousness to the whole world. And that way, we will bring real peace. Understand? So this is, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati created a Gaudiya Mutt for India. Prabhupada is planning a League of Devotees for the whole world. Roadmap is the same. So this is another Gaudiya Mutt only. League of Devotees is a Gaudiya Mutt. Because that Gaudiya Mutt was broken up. Prabhupada wanted to do through Gaudiya Mutt only, but that is broken up. So Prabhupada is planning another Gaudiya Mutt in the name of League of Devotees. Purely spiritual movement, cutting across nations to collect all devotees together under one umbrella called League of Devotees to bring peace to the whole. So Abhay stayed on in Jhansi. He was lecturing every day. He would visit to the villagers, talk to the villagers. He will sit in shops to the customers. He will talk to them, and he will be talking to this Prabhakar, Mullik, and Siddhi, all these people, constantly planning what to do next, what to do next. Then he found one Bharati Bhavan in the heart of Jhansi, which is a temple complex. Many buildings are there. One of the buildings is called Radha Memorial. And Mahamantra was written on the wall of this complex. So Prabhupada was convinced this is Krishna's plan. He wants to give this to me. And he found it was not occupied by anyone. It is vacant. And he met the owner, the landlord, and the landlord appreciated Abhay. And he said, okay, you can have it. You can occupy it. So Abhay occupied it. And then he wanted to register League of Devotees. He prepared the charter of objectives. You know the objectives of ISKCON, right? Very similar charter was prepared by Prabhupada in 1952, 53 to register League of Devotees. And it was, as I said, it was not a Jhansi focused organization. It had a broad global scheme of training brahmacharis in Jhansi, sending them to the whole world to preach Bhagavad Gita and to make devotees of great leaders and then unite the whole world, make everybody member of League of Devotees and to bring world peace. Prabhupada's plan. So this charter was prepared on May 16, 1953. League of Devotees was opened. Every paisa was spent by Abhay Charan Day, by whatever money was there in his business. 3,000 rupees in 1953. Imagine. Very grand, very big celebration. All his money he spent there. His past life was forgotten. His family was forgotten. Forgotten in the sense, absolutely absorbed in the service to the Lord. Because some response is coming, no, he wants to capitalize on that, using Jhansi as base. And suddenly one news came to him, your Allahabad business burglarized. By whom? By the employees. Whatever little assets were there, they took away everything. Nothing of value was left behind. When Abhay got this news, now he's nothing. He's reduced to nothing. And he laughed. He laughed and said, when Krishna wants to give special mercy, he takes away everything from it. So Prabhupada could see that this is special mercy of Krishna. Because otherwise, one side business, one side preaching and all that was too much trouble. Now the business is totally gone. Prabhupada is now completely rendered Vanaprastha or Sannyasi or Parivrajakacharya, whatever you call it. He is now free to do his preaching. Around this time, his son Vrindavan came from Calcutta and he told, Daddy, please come, let us go back to Calcutta. Let us restart our business. The business was already there in a small scale. Abhay Charan Day and sons, he said, let us make it expand. You please come. Prabhupada said, sorry, son, I cannot come. I am now very much committed here in Jhansi, in my spiritual preaching. You stay here and assist me in preaching work. But son left back to Calcutta. So Prabhupada, at this point of time, Prabhupada, Abhay Charan Day, had one first initiated disciple, that is Prabhakar. You remember Prabhakar Mishra, who is the principal. So he became the first initiated disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And now you remember when and where and who the first disciple of Srila Prabhupada, initiated disciple. That is Prabhakar Mishra. And then problems started happening in Jhansi. This Radha Memorial League of Devotees, the building, the landlord started changing his stance constantly. First he said, you keep it, it is your property. Then he said, you pay me the money, you buy it, you register it in your name. And then he started demanding 5,000 rupees. So like this, Abhay was a little disturbed that this man is not reliable and I have to better register it quickly in my name. But 5,000 rupees needed. You realize by now, nothing. 3,000 rupees was spent on inauguration of the building. and business is now burglarized, no money anywhere, Prabhupada should give 5,000 rupees. So when his son came, Prabhupada refused to go. Now Prabhupada is going back to Calcutta to start the business. Why? Because he needs money to buy League of Devotees building. So for Krishna, he is willing to go for business. For his own sake, he doesn't want business. He has given up. Why? Because wife is uninterested in his work. There is no money to develop the business further. And even if he develops a business, all the money will be taken by family. Prabhupada will neither have money nor time for preaching work. So now he again went back to Calcutta. He did not go home. He stayed in an ashram, Gaudiya Mata ashram. And he went to his house. From there only, he would talk to his people. Again, he will try to interest them in spiritual life, but no interest. His wife was still drinking upstairs, eating biscuits with tea. Downstairs, Prabhupada would be preaching. Upstairs, she will be sitting with children and eating tea biscuits. One day, what she did, the Bhagavatam book she sold and bought biscuits. Prabhupada came and searched for the book, and he asked his wife. She says, yeah, I sold it because I needed tea biscuits. I bought tea biscuits. So Prabhupada became very, very disappointed by this. And he thought, I cannot retrieve the situation. My family will never support me and I can never make them devotees. And so Prabhupada left home, never to return. His wife thought many times he has come and gone like that. He's not. She didn't take it seriously, So, but he never returned after that. And from there, Abhay he borrowed some money. He went to Jargram Mutt. And there the people in Jargram Mutt recollect that Prabhupada was only chanting 24 hours. He was tired. He had not eaten any food. They could notice all these things. And he was only absorbed in chanting. Then again, he borrowed some money. He purchased a Chaitanya deity to take back to Jhansi to establish that. He was still hoping that somehow I can get that building. But in the meantime, what happened? Governor Kulpati Munshi of Bengal, of UP, he wanted that property of Prabhupada for his wife. His wife wanted to start a ladies' club, not exactly a ladies' club, an organization for women to bring up the downtrodden ladies. Like that, she had a plan, and she wanted the property. Prabhupada made as many arguments as possible, but even people who are on the side of Prabhupada, they slowly started shifting towards that lady, saying, oh, this is a good social work she is doing for poor women. Let us give it up like that. People on the side of Prabhupada also, they changed side. They could not appreciate the spiritual solution that Prabhupada was offering. So Prabhupada ultimately had to give up on this dream in 1954. And he left Jhansi for good. Before that also he tried. What did he try? He brought Keshav Maharaj, another of his god brothers, to do some preaching work in Jhansi. He took him around. He was hoping this Maharaj will buy the property. He will have money. But that Maharaj also did not show any interest. He thought, Jhansi, why should we waste our time? It's such a small place, not much preaching opportunity. Not interested. So finally, Prabhupada vacated. And along with the Chaitanya deity, he went to Mathura from there. Hare Krishna. With that, we come to the end of the session. On the one side, it looks like a very, very heartbreaking. But it is not heartbreaking for Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is a pure devotee. He is having Krishna in his heart. And he is there in the heart of Krishna. But it is sad for the world. It is sad for the people. Right? Otherwise, the movement could have taken root in 1952, 53 itself. But unfortunately, Prabhupada could not start. So this misfortune not for Prabhupada. This is misfortune for us. Because he's trying in so many ways to give us Krishna consciousness. Not that he needs, he's having enough Krishna consciousness. So thank you very much. Any questions? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranams. Prabhuji, objectives of ISKCON, Prabhuji. I don't know.
Yes. Who can tell the objectives of ISKCON?